I have been very fortunate to get hold of one of the activists who has actually been actively involved at Euston Square. And this is what the activists are doing to stop this development, which obviously is an environmental catastrophe as well as a financial catastrophe for our country. I'm going to bring in my guest, who is Laura. In this part, I want to ask you a couple of questions, and really I want you to tell us, what is this all about? Because we're never going to find out from the mainstream media. So this is your opportunity, this is your platform to tell us why it is there is this protest going on at Euston Square.
Hi, yeah. So right now it's really hard to take my eyes. It's really hard to get any sleep or take my eyes off of screens at the moment because I'm isolated. Well, I'm in lockdown with 3 young children, and so I've been supporting from afar and sending people stuff in and being the network, basically networking all the legal team. And we've just got the best legal team I could ever have hoped for. So we're hoping in the next day or two that they're going to have to halt work on health and safety grounds because the national eviction team aren't trained for tunnels. So we've already had a few tunnel collapses this week where they've been putting heavy machinery over the top of the tunnels. They're trained for, they've done one job before like this in Heathrow, and it was a 2-meter tunnel. But now we're dealing with a 35-meter tunnel. It's somewhat different. And they've lied on the NET, the National Eviction Team, have lied to get the job. All the jobs that they said that they've done in the past, our tunnel expert did, and he's speaking out for us now. Kids. So I've got my kids just walked in the room at the wrong time. Basically, it's really hard. I've got on my phone at the moment, and they've just arrested a 73-year-old woman called Mariam. She was on top of the shelter since Tuesday in the cold, and they did have some shelter between 4 of them. This is happening right now. She's just getting put in the meat wagon now to be taken off to the police station. It's such an exciting action. I mean, it's absolutely terrifying. That's why I haven't slept, because I love a lot of the people in that tunnel. So we've got such a cross section of society. I think that's what's exciting about it. We've got I don't know if the Daily Mail, they think there's 4 people or 5 people down the tunnel. There isn't. I'm not going to tell you how many people there are down the tunnel, but they're yet to find out. We've got, young people, old people. We've got someone that the Daily Mail said escaped out of an open prison, making him sound like he's a tunneler, but he did actually just walk out of the prison, because those prisons you can just walk out of. And then we've got Dr. Larch. We've got apparently a millionaire's kids. I think that might be Swampy, I'm not sure, but it's just such a cross section of society don't want this project happening, and people are willing to put their lives on the line quite literally to try and stop it. And we've been on site there since August at Euston. I helped set up the first HS2 camp Harville Road in Uxbridge, Denham and Hillingdon, because we had a camp on the road there, just a few tents, but it was unsafe with the heavy machinery coming in and out. So we took the meadow behind it and started to put big tents up and make it more family friendly, and build sort of like tree houses for the kids, as well as we were allowed to be in that. We had civil judges permission to have that as our main protest camp. So it was a safe place for kids at that one. But in the last year, they've since the National Eviction Team got involved in April last year, no, actually in about February last year, so a year now, the violence has completely escalated. They're trained mercenaries, so we've had knees on the neck, we've had ribs broken, we've had jaw bones broken. It's very ruthless. So I've had to take a back seat being a single mother and not being able to get so involved. But we've got so many camps that have popped up now up the line. We've got hundreds of activists involved, and at any one time there might be over 100 activists sleeping on the various camps up the line. And the community support has been amazing. Just people taking, bringing duvets, bringing cooked meals, bringing food, donations, sharing, supporting. Still a lot you can do from home, writing to your MPs and all that kind of thing. But yeah, so
it sounds heavy going, to say the least. I mean, I love a campaign, I really do, and I can throw a lot of energy into it, but I can't imagine taking on what you guys do. And I think that, you know, all credit to you, and thanks for sharing what it's like to be an activist involved, and the horrible tactics that that the government agency is using against you. I mean, this is the Tories who employed these people, so it's down to them. This is Boris Johnson. These guys are hired by Boris Johnson to do this to you.
Yeah,
This is absolutely an affront to our democracy, that people who are protesting are being violently attacked in this way. One thing I read was that they're not supposed to use any heavy machinery above a tunnel, and they've been driving the cherry pickers over the tunnels, which is making the tunnels leak and collapse. You know, I mean, that's you know, if anyone dies, that'll be manslaughter. That's absolutely horrific what they're doing.
yeah.
And I just wanted to, so you've explained a little bit about what it's like. I just wonder if you can just give us a synopsis, just in 2 minutes, about why it is so important to you to stop the HS2.
Well, I grew up in Hillingdon, where a lot of the work started, and the lakes around there were a part of my connection with nature growing up. We used to go on long walks. My dad used to fish there with my brother, and so for me it's quite personal. But on a wider scale, it's just an illustration of how deforestation's been ramped up globally, and now we've got the COVID lockdown. Apparently, last June, global deforestation had gone up 70%. It's because where the economy's fallen, you've got all these companies and investors grappling for the last of the Earth's resources. We've used up 50% of the Earth's resources so far on man-made products and day-to-day life on this planet in capitalism, and it's not working. It's not sustainable. The ecosystems are dying. We're forgetting that we're a part of those ecosystems. So things like viruses and that are the disease of capitalism. All you've got to do is Google viruses, deforestation, and link, and you'll get a lot of academic articles to back up that. And people don't realise that, you know, we're making ourselves iller doing this, and these viruses are going to escalate. We're going to have a lot more of them when they can't find hosts. You know, they jump from species to species. They mutate when they're, you know, ripped up from where they've been for thousands or millions of years. They've evolved with species, and now these species are dying. They'll jump, and they are jumping, to humans and other animals. You know, avian flu and industrial farming is at fault here as well.
It does seem that we're battling against nature when we should be living with nature, alongside nature. And the irony is, you know, well, nature's stronger than us, and we will destroy the planet and make it unfit for human habitation, but we won't. The planet will survive after we've gone. It will, you know, it will be able to heal itself once humankind is out of the way.
Yeah,
Um,
but
so
whilst doing it, we're getting rid of millions of years of evolution of all the species.
yeah, it's awful, isn't it? And especially, you know, in lockdown. I don't know about other people, but I mean, lockdown's made me really appreciative of nature. You know, I've done a lot of gardening, and you know, and I've got a tree just outside my window that I've looked at through every day of spring, summer, autumn, winter, seeing the changes, and it's just a miracle. And I look at it, I just think I think this is a miracle. This is just amazing, and we're doing this. We're destroying it. What would you like our comrades to do to show solidarity and support for you?
Write to your MPs. Use the hashtag on Twitter, Battle of Euston and Euston Tunnel, and stop HS2. I just want to get in there while I'm here about how much I think equality has got to do with the state of the world at the moment, and if just that, you know, like the whole Black Lives Matter movement and stuff like that. I really don't like the eco-fascism sneaking into a lot of green movements, and we've got to step away, relook. You know, there's a lot of troubling conversations happening about population control, when we all know it's like Western children that using up the Earth's resources, not you know, countries like developing countries and stuff. And you know, equality for women, I think that, you know, trusting Mother Earth to provide for us without having to rip out all the resources, remembering love and letting love, forgiving, and not it's that competitive element. It's kind of a masculine element of competitiveness that's driving the earth to destruction. So just write to your MPs. Get onto our HS2 Facebook pages. Like, we've got one called Euston, screw you HS2. Euston is the one where you'll see a lot of the tunnel action. We've got Twitter, Bear Witness 2019, hashtag at Bear Witness 2019. They've got, the people in the tunnel have that Twitter, that Twitter, so you might get to see some live in the tunnel footage on there. So just keep on sharing and stuff, I guess.
Thank you so much, Laura, for coming on our show. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on here, and good luck in everything you and your comrades are doing.